Tasya Heturvidya. Not understanding his purpose is ignorance. Not understanding this relationship of Brahma and Maya, that is universe, is ignorance. To carry forward memory is the requirement for life. Now, after considering the nature's techniques, we find that it is the memory, ego and mind that are primarily used for creating memory and intelligence. The intelligence also is a substance stored at memory. The memory is genetically transferred to next generation. As such, memory is eternal. In absence of memory, living of a living being would be impossible. If memory be made readable, a large data of generations will explain the history of epochs. The most possible way to find memory might be with DNA, because all other details like race, color, genetic store of knowledge is available with the same. While transferring everything to the next generation, previous identity must have been blocked or not accessible or zipped, because if the sperm is transferring data, it was in a continuous process. The knowledge in a continuous process therefore cannot be destroyed and must be available. It is possible that Egyptian mummies were preserved for thousands of years till the revival technique is brought into practice and memory from their residuals is made available to them for continued further living. Why dead were mummified? Because perhaps it was presumed that someone knowing high technology and may arrive to revive the dead, and the revived will continue further with their stored memory. The mummies were preserved in the pyramids to ensure its safe custody for thousands of years. The life therefore is memory. However, yoga says memory is not readable and not stealable to others at any living being. अनुभूत विषया संप्रमोश स्मृति. Neural networks drive memory to surface impressions is a peaceful situation. Memory is neither readable nor can be stolen at any living being. Therefore, as and when memory creation technique is understood and the memory reading at living being is developed, the revolution at genetic engineering will occur, overturning all previous concepts. A new era of the life may start. What are nature's techniques pertaining to memory and the ways to find them, either through yoga, science or spirituality? So far, no person has shown any progress except the science. This will come out with some inventions, but yoga says retention, meditations and absorption is the way you can drive memory and program your mind. Unism or monoism and dualism. नासते विद्यते भावो ना भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोन्त सत्वयनो तत्वदर्शिभिः. The unreal has no existence and real never ceases to be. The reality of both has thus been perceived by the seers of truth. The unreal is always projected to credulous for provoking and then leaving them in shock, to have a command on them and create fear. The truth is difficult to explain and is laborious. Monism is manifestation of supreme principle. The civilizations emerged with idea of monism, dualism and debated on controversial issue as whether man is complete with mind, body and spirit and does not recognize any outside principle, Ishwar. Monism do not differentiate between Ishwar and Brahma and consider the manifestation of supreme principle, Ishwar with living being. Dualism recognizes body as matter, the spirit and the Ishwar as a supreme principle, all independent. This is actually triism but considered as dualism. Various civilizations developed with the idea of non-spiritual concept and atheism. Most were believers in spirit and Ishwar. Moksha is Swarupa Sthiti. This is emancipation. Advaita or Unism followers believed that in the state of Swarup Sthiti or Moksha or emancipation, self does not remain different than Ishwar. During the pragmatic condition, the Ishwar transacts in the form of self or self principle. In the Moksha Avastha, self principle goes avasthit or at Ishwar, whatever is its true performance. Dualism propagators do not believe this and they presume the self principle and supreme principle, though with similar property, are independent rulers. In the Moksha Avastha, the self principle assimilates with supreme principle, relinquishing pain but gains the knowledge and pleasure. Unism or monism and dualism. As far as matter is concerned, the Unism or Advaita propagators do not consider matter different from the supreme principle, since the supreme principle is the material cause. True, because during the Mukti or Swarup Sthiti, matter goes absent, and untrue because the entire transaction in the universe is due to Brahma or sentient, because matter does not function in absence of Brahma. And it is the specific power of Brahma. Brahma is always unaffected and remains monotonous. The evolution, position or status and catastrophe are material related. To gain knowledge is the only ultimate for freedom. Emancipation from pain or Swarupa Sthiti is the prime and final thought for the Unism and dualist thinkers. The position becoming like Brahma or Brahma itself may be an intellectual exercise, but the cause of pain is matter. To dislodge the matter from self-principle is the purpose of both thinkers. Unism or Advaita thinkers have projected the self-principle in matter like snake delusion in rope. Supreme principle considered as imaginary and dislodged from the self-principle. Dualists have shown self-principle as separate from supreme principle to show distinctively self-principle. To gain knowledge is the only ultimate for freedom from pain is final thought process for both the thinkers, and this is the main subject of Vedanta. The various other sects have defined specific unism, pure unism, dualism unism. All these do fall under only unism and dualism. Pain and pleasure are properties of matter. The concept pain and pleasure, sin and merit are interrelated. Pain and pleasure are the perceptions of mind. If you create pain for self, it is penance. But if you create pain for others, it is sin. If you create pleasure for self, it is luxury, eventually painful. If you create pleasure for others, it is punya or merit. The pain and pleasure perceived is recorded in memory. Prowess, the ethical living. As mentioned in the sacred texts, the prowess is a way of living, and a human being has to adapt the way of living if he wants to be comfortable in this world. Prowess refines the quality of living and also the society. Prowess develops and gratifies intellectual, ethical, physical, social and spiritual living of a human being. The prowess is fourfold: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma, the righteous duty, truth. This is righteous duty and the act one must perform towards others to justify and do justice. The performing should be ethical, moral and truthfully. Your right is to perform and not to that of the fruits. Your righteous duty towards your Ishwar, father, mother, brother, sister, relatives, other society, nation, actions, skills, other species, enemies, nature and almost everything is each time different, but has the properties such as truthful, obedience, pardoning, kind, compassionate, tolerance, prayer, saluting, donations, etc. Because while performing righteous duty, the pain must not be created.